Reefer madness. Reefer madness seems to be coming back to the United States.
These high school boys and girls are having a hop at the local soda fountain, innocent of a new and deadly menace lurking behind closed doors.
Well, when it comes to reefer, on April 13th, Canada's federal government introduced a bill legalizing recreational marijuana use.
Marijuana.
Meanwhile, the U.S. seems to be ramping up the war on drugs. Department of Homeland Security Secretary John F. Kelly said earlier this week that he thought pot is not a factor in the drug war. A few days later, he changed his tune and called it, quote, a potentially dangerous gateway drug. He was echoing Attorney General Jeff Sessions' stance, who's been very vocal about his opposition to legalizing pot and other drugs.
We must fight the scourge of drugs in our community. Drugs and crime go together.
Now joining us from Cleveland is Senator Nina Turner.
Thanks for having me.
Senator Turner, what do you make of Sessions? More repression on drugs, including marijuana, more arrests, more incarceration, I assume, and it's all part of the war on drugs.
We know that this so-called war on drugs does not work, and all it does is create a scourge in communities, particularly communities of color. It's the wrong way to go. At least half of the states in our country have some type of law legalizing medical marijuana, which he made a comment even against that. You know, I remember, Paul J., when a gentleman came to testify before the Senate Judiciary Committee, of which I was a member of, and his observation was that if we really want to rehabilitate people, then we need not send them to hardcore prison where they will end up, in his words, coming out of there with a PhD in criminology.
When you look at the data, I think it supports what you're saying. Dealing with drugs as a healthcare issue makes far more sense.
And it certainly makes no sense to bring back the so-called war on drugs.